One of the most frustrating things about sleep when you're having trouble with it is you could be absolutely exhausted, but then the moment your head hits the pillow, bing, you're right awake. Or you wake up at 2 a.m. and your mind's suddenly whirring. It's like you've gone from 0 to 100 straight away. This is my explanation of why that happens and what to do about it. So this is based on the principle of association. So, for example, if there was a particular song that you loved when you were 16, all you've got to do is hear that song and you're reminded of those memories. Or if there was somebody that was really important to you, sometimes there are particular smells that remind you of that person straight away. The smell has been associated with the person. In terms of sleep, if you've always had good night's sleep and it's always been okay, bed becomes associated with feelings of relaxation, calm, and going to sleep. So I could be absolutely tense, I could have had the worst day in the world, but I get into bed and I feel that duvet and I've got the smell around me and I'm just calm and I'm straight off to sleepy land. However, if you've had a few days, weeks, or months where for whatever reason you have been uncomfortable or tense or awake in bed, what that starts to build is an association in your brain between bed equals feeling this way. And the more that happens, the more that repeats, the stronger that association gets. So all it takes is for you to get into bed for those feelings to come up. You could be feeling kind of calm and relaxed and you get into bed and all of a sudden you're not. And that's really frustrating. So the basic principle about undoing this is trying to minimize the amount of time we spend in bed feeling this and maximize the amount of time we spend in bed feeling this. So usually what we try and do when we're having trouble sleeping is we just try and stay in bed and hope that we get to sleep. That can mean that you can toss and turn for like 2 or 3 hours. All that's doing is giving you 2 or 3 hours where this is building. So the principle this is based on is called sleep restriction, which is the idea that if you're in bed for, let's say, 10 hours and you are only asleep for, let's say, 5 or 6 of those, and the rest of that time you're tossing and turning, you're feeling tense, it's not going to do you any good. Next time you try to go to sleep, you've just built loads of association here. So they'd actually say, what's the point? You're only asleep for sort of 6 hours anyway. Why don't you just go to bed later so that you've got more chance of having had 6 hours pretty much totally asleep? That's not going to work every time. Sometimes you'll wake up and you're feeling that tension, and this is the hardest part to do, is you've got to get out of bed. So I tried to go back to sleep for maybe 15, 20 minutes, but I'm tossing and turning. It's not going to happen. I'll get out of bed. I'll do something that relaxes me, and I'm only going to try and get back into bed when I'm feeling calm and when I'm feeling relaxed. And if I can do that for a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, what I'll start to see is it's a little bit easier. I don't feel as tense when I get into bed. Sleep is a big subject. There's more to talk about here, so I'm going to do a couple more videos, but this is a good place to start.